Alright, let's start. This is Mordai, and I decided to start a Let's Play Minecraft All the Mods 3 Simplified pack mode with doing a little bit different. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to start a Minecraft server and client on the same machine. I know a lot of mod authors that are just great, they're awesome. They typically just start out with the game, they don't teach you how to build a server, and when I first started the mod scene, it was only a few months ago, I had no idea where to start. And that's why I have Twitch up. If you're looking to start modded Minecraft, Twitch is probably your best platform for it. They make it absolutely easy, and I'm going to go through some steps on how to set up a server and how to get Twitch and go from there. So, with that said, let's get started here. The first thing you're going to want to do is update your PC, get all the security updates. If you're going to be hosting a server of any kind, you want everything at its latest and most secure patch level. I have to get that out there because I run IT infrastructure for a living, and I've seen way too many breaches due to people just not updating. At minimum, try to do it once a month. Once a quarter is definitely understandable. So, first thing you're going to do is go to the Twitch website and download the Twitch client. And if you need the URL, I'm going to include it in the comments and description. But it is app.twitch.tv/download. And you just download this application. If you don't already have a Twitch account, create a Twitch account and then fire up the client. And the client looks something like this. And you're going to want to go through under My Games, you're going to want to add Minecraft, and you do that easily by clicking Mods and then click Minecraft, and then you will say Install Minecraft. And we're starting right from the beginning here. I deleted a lot of instances here, and we're just going to start from scratch just to show you what it looks like. So I'm just going to click Install here. It's going to click for a little bit, and no profiles currently installed, right? And so I'm going to say browse all mod packs. Now, the mod pack we're going to want to play, and I've tried a bunch, but the mod pack we're going to play is All the Mods 3. And because we're just learning here, we're going to change the pack mode configuration to Simplified. And I'm also going to show you how to do that here. So we're going to type All the Mods 3. It is this first one right here. This is, in my opinion, a very good one to start with. It has a lot, so there's something to be said there. I'm going to click Install here. It's going to unpack it, change all the things for me. But this doesn't teach you how to do a server, and I want that to be part of this tutorial. What I want you to be able to do is play the game and then go to sleep and then wake up with all your crops already filled. So in the morning, or when you come back from doing your adulting, you come back and you have some good fun to look up to without having to rent a server. I work for no one online. I have no affiliation. I'm just trying to teach people how to do fun things. And so if you want the server pack for this, we're going to want to go to minecraft.curseforge.com/projects/allthemods3/files. And what we're going to want to do is download this server pack. And we can see all of these mods that we're going to be playing with. And we're going to be learning about a bunch of them. I'm not going to teach you all of these. I don't know them all. But we're going to be dealing with a lot of them. And you can see on this particular pack, only 335 downloads, updated 3 days ago. We're going to click that server files here. And then download that. So, and then you can see it downloading here. It's 268 meg. I'm doing that at the same time this is installing. Some of the stuff does take a while to install. Just so you guys are aware, I'm going to show you some of the specs of the PC here while we wait. So I have on this particular PC 64 gigs of RAM. I have a very fast M2 hard drive. My CPUs are here. And you can kind of see what's running. I have a Killer NIC Ethernet. So It might not be fair to compare your setup with mine, but performance options are always tweakable. Let's just go to Resource Monitor and show you this. If you don't know what Resource Monitor is, it is a great way to show performance of bad processes or any such thing that you want. So we can just go average CPU. So on this one, I can see that OBS 64 is my highest consuming CPU right now, and that is because I'm running Open Broadcaster, right? And you can lock that. We can see the memory consumption here of that. We can see the disk activity here of this particular thread. We can see how many read writes, the I/O priority, how much network, the connections it's using. This is just kind of a side thread, but if you're doing performance tuning of your own server, you're going to want to know this a little bit. Let's see if that download has finished. It should be done. All right. So they got play and install. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay, so it is downloading the runtime, and it's going to install Minecraft for us. And we're going to want to change this folder to something that we know where it's at here in a little bit. But let's see if these server files have downloaded. So I'm just going to do show in folder. And delete my old Twitch setup here. This is just the download for the Twitch thick client. Server files, Windows is quite slow, so if you haven't downloaded 7-zip, I would open 7-zip. So all the mods 3 is the server pack, right? This is the server files. Let me just minimize some of this for you and go to where I'm going to install it. I have a little Explorer icon down here. I'm going to add it to Minecraft server, and I'm just going to drag out the files from my window over here, if it lets me. Being feisty. Alright. So with 7-zip, it does multi-threaded uncompression, so you can, it does a lot faster than Windows. That's one of the reasons why I like it so much. Alright. So we have these files. Now there's a lot of config, a start, a batch file here. This is what we're going to use to be starting our server after we modify our server.properties here. So server.properties is open up in another one. We're going to want to change some of this default settings so we can get a good server. And I'll explain some of that. But let's check on our client installation during the meantime. So client installation is running. It's going to ask us for email and username. And just for security, I'm not going to show you this stuff. I'm going to log in with another window over here. And so I'm just typing in my email and password over here. So we're going to log in. We're going to see this. It's going to hit all this stuff. So we got latest release, all the mods 3. We can change some of this stuff over here. We can change the launch options. We can go to advanced settings. And when we do that, we get a little prompt that says enable changing advanced settings when you add a new launch option. Changing these may cause the game to malfunction. That's okay. If you're advanced at Java, you can modify these settings here. This is max memory, this is minimum memory, this is perm gen size. You don't need to know all this stuff. Just know that it's there and configurable. And if you read somewhere on where to set this stuff on the client version, this is where to set it. So this is just a bunch of stuff that you'll never change. I'm going to close this for right now because I want to make sure that this profile is set up in the right area. So my mod packs, all the mods 3, I just re-clicked it because that way I can see where it actually opened into the folder. And I'm going to open the folder where it was. So it looks like it put it here. C users, Mordai, documents, curse, Minecraft instances, all the mods 3. So just be cautious where this is, and you can always click this triple dot here and click open folder. So if you don't know where you installed it to, make sure you click open folder here. Alright, we're going to set up the client settings first and get that started because it does take a little while to start up. It is a little bit surprisingly slow to start up. So let's get that rolling. I'm going to hit open folder, which I did before. It's going to be right here. And because we're going to do simplified pack mode, we're going to modify the config for that. So we're going to all the mods 3, config, and we're going to find a file called packmode.cfg. And we're going to edit it with Notepad++. You notice we have 2 modes, normal and simplified. I'm going to do simplified because this is going to be a fun educational how-to, but this is how we do it. So just remember, I will have to do this for the server as well. And the server is the master. So if for some reason your friend is running this mod pack and you have simplified on here, your crafting recipes are going to show up as simplified, but they will not work unless they match the server. The server must also have pack mode simplified, because when you click that right crafting window, when you put the ingredients in, only the server will win that argument. So they should both be the same. And so I will be modifying the same thing on the server. So I did all the mods 3 pack. However, there is a couple things that I like because one of them is there's a current mechanism bug and I want that fixed. So I have a couple jar files here that are custom patches. One is Dank, Null, and Me Creeps. Those 2 are from the Direwolf 20 mod pack, and if you haven't watched Direwolf, he is great, so I would suggest you watch that, especially if you want more advanced content. He is very good at explaining things, and he's been around for a long time, and I have nothing but respect for him, so please watch his videos, support him, do what you have to. And then I have 3 mechanism jars here, and that is because there's a current bug in multiplayer mechanism where you right-click it and you get disconnected. And if I remove the old jars and add these jars, it fixes that bug. It's not on Curse or Twitch yet, so I have them manually downloaded from the author's website. So I'm going to copy these jar files and put them in the client and server both. So this is my client, all the mods 3. Now, because of Java namespace rules, I can only have one version of Mekanism running at a time. So I have to find the other Mekanism mods and delete those jar files, and then I have to add the ones that I've downloaded. So what we'll see here is we have these Mekanism jars, and these are the 3 that I replace, or I'm going to replace. So I just am going to delete those out. I don't need them ever again. And then I can paste the ones that I have. Now, if I update this mod pack, and they haven't updated my Mekanism yet, I will have to add these back in, or remove the duplicates. Your server and client will crash saying duplicate namespace, so be aware that once you start modifying these jar files like I did, you will not get support, and you're on your own. But it's very possible. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm adding a couple other mods, Me Creeps and Dank Null. So, alright, so this should be set up for my client. So let's go back to Twitch, and I'm going to start this up with more memory because I can. So I'm going to go to Advanced Settings. I'm going to crank this up. Let's just use the max. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hit play. So now this is going to take my memory settings. If I go Launch Options, Advanced Options, I can see that now my memory is higher. So that's cool. Let's just save that and start it up. Let's hit play. So this is the client. It's going through what it needs to. It's going to download the jars and it's going to start it up. But while that's going, we can get the server going. let's go to Mordai, Games, Minecraft server, and if I try to start the server, it's going to yell at me because I don't have a few things ready. So it's going to download Forge and do a couple other things here. But let's let that tick for a bit. And it's going to try to install Forge, and what it's going to tell us is that we don't have the EU LA end user license agreement acknowledged. And so it's going to tell us that. And the first time you start a server, you have to create that EULA file. And so I know this is going to stop and crash, and it's going to tell me I don't have things ready. That's because we don't see this file I need over here. And we're going to teach you how to start that server up. Okay, now this is the client starting up at the same time. So as you load your Minecraft client, you will see this. This is the memory total, this is the memory used, and this is kind of the progress bar. So this is still going on the server, creating some things. It's going to go through and load all the mods before it tells me my end user license agreement is not there. And we'll get to that here in a second. So we're going to let that tick over, and I will be showing you that very shortly. So as it loads up, like I said, it does take a while. So we're just going to let that tick and see how that goes. I'm copying over a file now, and then I'll show you how to create that end user license agreement file after it tells us that it will not work. And then we'll restart the server, configure it. So could not find EU LA equals true in EULA.txt file. Please edit the save file before continuing. Please press any key to continue. So if we press a key, it's going to restart the server. But let's configure our options first, and then we'll restart the server. And the client is just ticking away back here because it takes a while. Just a lot of stuff to load. It's a bunch of mods. So we are going to paste a file. And let's see, there's an EU LA file now. There, we're going to edit it with Notepad. And Notepad's smart. It says, do you want to reload this file that might have been changed? Okay. So let's read the end user license agreement. Make sure that you read it before you click OK. I don't want to tell you to legally, do anything. So we're going to have to change this to true. So that's it. Now our server will technically start, but we're going to want to modify some settings first, and that's in server.properties here. So let's change some server settings, and then we'll get it running, and then we'll create a game, and then we'll log into it. All right. So level name, let's just say Mordai stream. Let's just do that. Allow flight. There's we're going to say true, just because some parts of some mods allow flight, and it just is easier. Some people will get kicked because of other various things. So on this server, it's for fun, so we're going to allow flight. Server port. This can be anything you want. Pick a favorite number between 1,000 and 50,000. For this purpose, I'm just going to do 11,000. Just nice and easy. The level type, this is called Biomes Plenty. We're just going to type default here. I want normal Minecraft, normal vanilla. We'll get a lot into that a little bit later. Let's see here. We got level seed. This is if you want a consistent level server over server, you can place a seed, and these are all on the Minecraft wiki if you need more information, so please do that if you are curious. We do want to spawn NPCs. Now if you only want a specific set of people on the server, you're going to want to type whitelist true. And if you are hosting a public server with friends, I would say make whitelist equal to true. It is just one of those things that so that sound that you hear is Minecraft startup in the background. So let's, we just did a fresh install, so all of our options are super loud. Let's change that. we're just going to do a couple things here. I'm going to change the brightness to bright, and that is for streaming. It will help. And see the GUI scale auto? It doesn't really work that well. So I'm going to change this to large. I found that it works out a lot better. Let's go to music and sounds. We're going to change that volume down to about 30. Our music volume is going to be a bit less here. That way you can hear me talking without me having to talk over all of the music and such like that. So let's keep going down here. Spawn animals true, whitelist true, difficulty 1, PvP false. I want to play for fun. Difficulty 2. 1 is they don't, they just have. I just like 2. You can. So max players 20. Even though I'm going to be playing mostly by myself here, I'm going to do max players 20 just because default. View distance 10. Now this is going to be very important, and this is one of the biggest performance settings you can get when you're starting up a server. Mostly on these mod pack versions, what you will find is when you zone in and out, it has to synchronize a various number of chunks, right? And this is going to synchronize 10 chunks away from you in a circle. And if you have this set to 20, it's got to synchronize 20 chunks away from you in a circle. And you can imagine it is exponential in the terms and data that is synced. So if you're having problems with your server and porting back and forth and that being slow, and their view distance is greater than 10, I would say bring it back down to 10. And you'll just find that view distance 10 is okay for most things, and it's very performant. We'll go into more of that if we need to later. We're just going to say welcome to Mordai's server. And this is the message of the day when people log in or see themselves on the network. All right, so what we're going to want to remember here is port 11,000. All right, let's get that server started up after we look at one more thing. All right, so let's make sure that server's saved, and it is. All right, we're going to modify one more file here, and that is going to be settings.cfg. And we're just going to see. This is the server settings for the all the mods server. And just because I can, I'm going to bump this up to 8 gigs of RAM maximum, and I'm going to bump it up, 4 gigs minimum. I just want to keep this thing loaded up. I want it fast. I want it performant. If you don't have the RAM, don't bump it up. That's what I'm saying. And that's it. If you have problems with connecting, I would say add the IPv4 option into here or in your environment variables. All right. So let's keep going. We got to start the server up, and now it's just double clicking server start. And now it's going to do all the things that it did before. It's going to load it up, but now we've acknowledged this end user license agreement, so it should start up. All right. Why we do that? We're going to be typing in multiplayer here because it's not single player. We have to actually join a server here. And this is going to have a lot of messages. Don't try to understand this, and it's perfectly acceptable if you cannot. I mean, a lot of this is developer messages to themselves because they wrote the mods, right? So don't feel dumb or stupid or anything if you can't read these messages in the server log. This is way beyond anyone unless you wrote the mods. Some of it's very easy, some of it's quite complex. Just don't feel bad if you can't read it. That's my only advice. Alright, so multiplayer, searching for games on your local network. It's not going to find any. We're going to want to add the server. And you can call this whatever you want. This is for you to recognize your server yourself. So we're going to say Mordai's stream. And if you know anything about IPs, some of you are going to be typing in, you already know what I'm going to type in here. Anytime you're serving something locally, you're going to want to use what we call the loopback IP, which is 127.0.0.1. And in IP lingo, this is home. This is always home. And it only works if you're connecting to your local PC. So if you want to play with your friends, you're going to have to find your external IP and then put that in place of this so they can join your server. All right? And we're just going to do vanilla resource packs. This is only like this because it's still starting up, right? If I try to join this, it's probably going to give me a message saying server is still starting, right? Please wait before reconnecting. And I can see that on the server it says disconnecting player, server still starting, right? But I can see that it's preparing my spawn area now as well. So it's almost done. So, and it tells us a bunch of stuff here that you don't normally see in single player. Quark loaded a new chunk, causing cascading world gen lag. Don't worry about this. This is going to happen. So I just hit enter a few times to clear the Windows buffer, so it just keeps going. All right. So once you see that world gen chunk or that starting thread, that's okay to log in now. And one thing you're going to notice with mods is there's a lot more dimensions than just the vanilla dimension. We have a lot to work with here. Let's give you a minute to look at all of these dimension numbers. They're going to become important very later into the game here. 1 second. All right, in almost all cases, when you start the server, it's going to say, can't keep up, did system time change, or is the server overloaded? Running 22,000 milliseconds behind. Now, skipping 44 ticks, there is 20 ticks to a Minecraft second. So, when it says skipping 44 ticks, that is literally saying this number divided by 20. So, all right, now, because this is going, we should be able to see the server now. Let's go back to the server list. If we refresh it, it says, welcome to Mordai's server. That's what I typed into my message of the day, right? So I'm going to try to log in, and it's going to be logging in. Now, if I go to the server log, it's going to tell me, well, it's going to say mod rejection, Mekanism, and this is my own fault, and that's because I didn't copy the Mekanism I didn't copy the proper Mekanism jar files to the server. So I actually have to restart the server now, which is okay, I guess. We'll do that real quick. Let's just go Minecraft server, mods. And this is what happens when you don't plan for stuff. So these are the 3 that I deleted on my client. And I'm going to paste that back in. Alright, so here's my client. So here's my 3 Mekanism. There's my me creeps. I'm going to hold control here. And then there's my dank null. So control select allows you to select out of order here. Go to my server file. And I'm going to hit Windows tab here and find out what I have open here. So, alright. Alright, now I have all the same mods on my server as my client, and we can start it up again. Minecraft server, server start. So, some of you probably noticed that before I started the server. So, let's let that run a little bit. So, I'm going to turn that music down just a little bit more. Not that I mind it, but let's turn that down. So I don't typically do anything else. One thing while that's starting up we can go over is controls. With modded Minecraft, they do auto jump. I'm going to turn that off while I'm thinking about it. This would automatically jump up steps for you and things like that. I find it dangerous to do that. Let's just look at some of this. Key bindings. We can see that mods have their own key bindings now. We can Abyssal Craft, change staff of the Gatekeeper mode. I mean, advanced rocketry. Some of these that are red means they have key conflicts, which means that more than one key is bound to the same letter. So, and that's just a collision of mods. So nothing to worry about. It's just something that it happens. for the most part, the game keeps functioning, but if you do run into problems trying to use something, this is probably why. So sneak and sprint are still shift and control. Sneak, make sure you don't accidentally jump off a block. So whenever you're working near the edge of something, you're going to want to sneak in all cases. So let's look at to see how fast our server is. It's loading up. Restarts are a lot faster than the initial. So we're just going to wait for preparing spawn area, and we saw it. So this server restarted already. So let's rejoin it. And let's watch me join it again. This time I shouldn't get disconnected. And it's saying attempting connection. This is normal. This is the server updater. But I didn't get kicked out. So it's going to say Mordai joined the server. This is always the user ID of my guy when I log in, right? So this is good when you see the mod list. Sometimes, because there's so many mods, we have to log in 2 or 3 times. It's just the way the game works. It's kind of silly, but until the server's fully fired up, it does that. So we'll see. We're just going to wait patiently. It's logging in now. I can see it. And okay, now it disconnected me. Alright, because it timed out. Let's just try it again. And this is one of the reasons why you want to keep your mod packs up to date, because there are bugs in them, and they do fix them. Yep. Alright, so I'm just hitting enter to clear the Windows buffer. And you can see I'm trying to log in again here. And it's saying I joined the game, and it's syncing config files. Now if I go to my client here, we can see that it's going to be logging in here. And this is just a random map. So we got in, we got our server. I am not an op or anything on this server. I'm just a normal person. So that's how you create modded Minecraft and server. So if I wanted to right now, I could open my port 11,000 and my friends could join me. And in fact, my cousin and I play quite often like this. Doesn't typically take too long because I already have all the files, and I just copy server.properties and then modify the port, and we have multiple maps. But I will be creating another video starting out this stream, and we will work from it and keep fighting a good fight. We will see how it goes. I mean, I started in a jungle. That's one of my favorites because I just love the nice rich green on the ground, and we'll see. But I will end this episode here. And this is kind of a pre-episode. It's not going to be a real episode. But if you have any questions, concerns, comments, let me know. I don't stream very often, so if there's good feedback, I'll take it. If you just have things to say and be a troll, I'll take that too. I don't mind. All humans make mistakes. So if you try to troll me about a mistake, that's perfect. Everyone's here to improve and have fun. So I guess that's all. I will see you all very soon. I'm going to take a screenshot of this for the introduction. So, all right. You guys have a good day, and we'll see you later. Bye.